to invite any friends or family if you want.
Okay, I will do that.
All right, so wanted to talk today about counting losers. So usually when we're playing a suit contract, a trump contract, we count losers and try to get rid of losers if we have too many losers to where we'd be set. And so I'm going to show some hands here, and we can talk about how to count the losers and how many losers we have, and what would be techniques to reduce the loser count in these circumstances. So in this first hand here, board one, the trump is spades. It doesn't matter which is the declaring side, but we count losers by looking at the hand with longer trumps, which is north in this case, and we get to count, we pay attention to the length of each suit in that hand. We get to consider the high cards in both hands. And we consider something a loser if we don't have a sure winner. If we don't have ace, king, queen, for instance, if we have ace, king, little, we'd say we have one loser. So here in spades, we may have a spade loser because it's possible we'll lose the jack of spades. In hearts, we have a heart loser. You could say, well, we could do a finesse, which is true, but it's not guaranteed to work. And so we count it as a loser initially. And then we have two diamond losers and two club losers, because we could lose the king and the jack of clubs. And so let's see, what do we have here? So we would probably be in a four spade contract here where we can afford to have three losers, but a spade, a heart, two diamonds, and two clubs is five. So we have to reduce our loser count by two. And so there's some ways to do that. So for instance, we could avoid losing a spade if the spades split 3-2. So just by cashing ace, king, queen of spades, the jack will drop and we won't lose a spade. We could also avoid a spade loser via finesse, which we wouldn't do initially, but if we played the king of spades and then played a spade to the ace, and we saw that east showed out, then we know that west has the jack and a little spade left, and we can finesse them back that way. So we can either get rid of a spade loser through length or finesse as an option. And we could get rid of a heart loser via finesse, 50-50 chance of that. Also with diamonds, if we give up the ace and king of diamonds, we'll promote our queen of diamonds. And then we can get a pitch. So a combination of a promotion of the queen of diamonds, and then if they haven't led hearts, we could play the queen of diamonds and throw our jack of hearts and not have to try the finesse. And then in clubs, we can also try finesse. We can play our ace of clubs and lead a low club to the 10 or the queen, and hope to only lose one club trick that way. So I don't have it in a way that I can really write on it, but I have a table I do for when these are printed out, where we say how many losers do we have, and you can fill in a spade, a heart, two diamonds, and two clubs, and then add up the total. And then what are the techniques that we have to try to reduce our loser count? And the techniques we generally take advantage of is promotion, where we can knock out a higher honor and have a lower honor become top. Length, where we don't necessarily have honors, but we have enough cards in a suit that the opponents just run out, and now our little cards are winners. Finesse, roughing a loser in dummy is a possibility. And a pitch is where we have a winner in dummy and we're out of that suit and declaring hand, and we could throw one of declares losers on dummy's established card. And so we often make use of multiples of these to reduce our loser count. And a lot of the analysis of how to play the hand is what order should we do? Is it better to try, for instance, and promote a diamond here and pitch a jack of hearts? Or is it better to do the heart finesse? If they lead a heart, we pretty much have to finesse right off. There's no other option. So it depends on various factors. But all of that stuff we've talked through ideally would happen when dummy comes down before you play to trick one from the dummy. You go ahead and see what your assets are, you count your losers, you consider what your techniques are to reduce your loser count, and come up with a sequence of play. One of the common decision points for a suit contract too is it okay to draw trumps right away, or do I need to hold off on drawing trumps? And so on a hand like this, where we don't expect we can rough any tricks in dummy, there's no need to delay drawing trumps. So we would normally try and get in, draw trumps right away, and then start attacking a suit like diamonds or clubs. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's look at another hand. So here, hearts is our suit, trump suit. And what do we have here? We're probably in 2 heart contracts. We need 8 tricks, so we can afford to lose 5 tricks. And we'll count our losers starting based on the south hand, which has the longer trumps. And so we have possibly 3 spade losers, 1 heart loser, 3 diamonds, and a club. So 3 spades, 3 diamonds, a heart and a club is 8. We need to reduce that by 3. We can possibly avoid a spade loser via finesse by leading a low spade to the king if the ace is in the west. What would be another way we could get rid of a loser here that you can think of?
Maybe you can scroll down to table.
Oh, the techniques. Yeah, there we go. Let me reduce this.
What is the contract again? Oh, trumps is hearts, yes.
Yeah, 2 hearts is our contract.
Well, you could set up your clubs for discards.
Yeah, so we could establish through length with clubs and then get pitches for that. So what would be another option? Can we do something to avoid losing 3 spades besides the finesse?
Well, trump a spade in the the north hand.
Right. So this is a case where we have 3 losers in spades, but we only have 2 spades in dummy. So trumping a spade would be an option to get rid of a spade loser. And this is the case where if we know that we want to trump something in dummy, we can't just set out and draw trumps right away and then go about spades, because then dummy is going to be out of trumps. Is there something we can do to avoid possibly a heart loser?
So I could answer, but somebody else ought to answer,
Yes,
don't you think?
that's all right.
So keep in mind with Trump, there are really not that as many options, since you can't use other suits to pitch your Trump losers.
Right. What do you think, Linnea? What can we do with hearts?
Well, you could certainly take that finesse.
That's right. We can hope that the Queen of Hearts is in the West. And if it is, we probably won't lose any trumps. And so the kind of thing we might think about is we have to be a little careful with our transportation. Because if we want to rough a spade, we probably need to lead a spade to the king and hope the ace is in the west. But regardless, play a couple rounds of spades, and then rough a spade. But we'd still like to be able to do a heart finesse. We can't get back to our hand in hearts. We might have to get back to our hand with clubs, like king of clubs, queen of clubs, and rough a club or something like that. So kind of a tricky one. All right, so we've got two more I want to show here. This one here. Sorry. Mousing around. All right. So now spades is trump. So how many spade losers do we have? 0. And when we count heart losers, we should count 0 heart losers. Because again, we look at the hand with the long trumps, which is south here. South only has 1 heart, and dummy has the ace. So we have no heart losers. And we don't worry about the little hearts that dummy has. We only consider as much length as the long trump hand has. Similarly, in diamonds, we only have 2 diamonds in that hand, and we have between us and dummy ace and king, so there's no diamond losers, and there's 1 club loser. So on this hand, we might be in a contract of 6 spades. Or no, we might be in, maybe we're in 7 spades here.
I'd hope we'd be in 7.
Yeah, 7 spades. And we can count 12 sure tricks, but what do we need to do to make a 13th trick? What are our possibilities for making a trick here?
Well, you could rough a club, or you could set up a diamond for a club discard.
That's right. Those are the 2 options. And the problem, well, there's not a great problem with roughing a club, but if clubs, they have 7 clubs between them. If they're divided 6-1, and we go play on clubs right away, they could rough before we could rough, and we'd be set. We could, so that would suggest we should try and draw trumps first, at least 2 rounds worth, to minimize the chance that they could rough that ahead of us. And the other option is to go ahead and just completely draw trumps and try to set up the diamonds. And so we've got 7, they've got 6. They're often 4-2. And if they are, we'd be able to rough out a diamond for our 13th trick. So different options, but those are the kinds of things you should look at before playing to trick 1. All right, I'm going to skip this one because I want to show a different one now. Hang on. Okay, so this hand 1 here. So south was the dealer and started with strong 2 clubs, 2 diamonds by north, waiting 2 spades. By south is saying I've got a good normally 6-card spade suit. 3 spades says, yeah, I like spades and maybe I've got a little extras. 4 clubs is a control bid showing ace or first or second round of control there. And here I think they're just showing ace of clubs on these controls in this auction. And since north does not have another ace to show, they just bid 4 spades, and that's the contract. And so here they lead they start out with 3 rounds of hearts. Ace of hearts, king of hearts, queen of hearts. And so what is our plan is to clear? Let's count our losers here. We don't have any spade losers. We have 2 heart losers, no diamond losers, and we have 3 club losers. So that's 5 losers in all, so we have to get rid of 2 losers to make our contract. So what's our best bet for getting rid of some losers?
Well, I think you can throw 2 hearts on your 2 diamonds as long as.
They just led the ace, king, queen of hearts.
Oh, they just led that. Okay.
So you lose 2 hearts and they lead a 3rd heart. You're going to have to trump that heart, right? Which trump do you use to trump the heart? Anyone?
Well, I think you want to save your 2 so that you can get to your king and queen of diamonds later to throw 2 clubs.
That is the correct analysis.
Yeah, that's a very an easy play to go wrong on if you're not thinking through the hand.
I'm
That's trick
afraid
one.
you gave it away when you asked that.
Right.
Well,
But this is very easy to say, okay, I'm going to rough with the 2 of spades, and then I'm going to count my losers. And then I'm going to come up with my plan. And by then it's too late. If you rough with the 2 of spades, you're going to go set on this hand.
so with 6 trumps opposite 4 trumps, you're only missing 3. So regardless of how they're split, if they're 3-0 or if they're 2-1, you can draw spades with the ace, king, and queen. And the 2 of spades is still an entry to dummy. But then Rick's question is, what do you do with those 3 club losers? So finesse is an option if guy on your right has king and queen of clubs. But that's probably not a good percentage play, right?
Yep.
So the other option is diamonds, but what you need to play the diamonds a little bit carefully. Any thoughts on how to do that? After you draw all the trumps, what do you do?
What do you think, Sam? Are you with us here?
Yeah, I'm still here. It's been a couple years since I played, so I'm kind of slow on the uptake.
That's fine.
So
And you may not be used at all to looking at diagrammed hands like this. It's sometimes hard to relate this to the actual play of the hand. But what we are kind of describing here is that the opponents lead 3 rounds of hearts. So dummy is going to play 3 little hearts, and declare is going to play their 2 little hearts, and they
Yep.
need to rough their 3rd heart with something like the 10 of spades.
okay,
And then we can draw trumps in 2 or 3 rounds by playing ace and king of spades and a couple little spades. And once the opponent's trumps are out, we've lost 2 hearts so far, but we don't want to lose 3 more club tricks. So what we want to do is play our ace of diamonds here. And then we can play our 2 of spades that we saved back to the 6 of spades in dummy to get the lead back into the dummy side of the table. And then we can play our king and jack of diamonds, which are now winners, and we can pitch
the club losers. Yeah, okay.
the club losers. Then we'll lose just the initial 2 hearts, and we'll have a club to lose at the end. And that's only 3 losers, so we'll take 10 tricks.
The key play, in addition to roughing high on the 3rd heart, is to play the ace of diamonds as soon as you draw trump. Because if you go to the dummy before you play the ace of diamonds, then you can't play the diamonds and pitch clubs. You play
We only
diamonds.
have one entry to the dummy, and that's using that 2 of spades. So we can't get back there twice. So we call that unblocking the ace of diamonds, so that once we've played it, then we can keep leading from the other hand without having it switch back to the south hand again. So this is the kind of analysis we do, and this is a super example of why before you play to trick one, you should come up with your whole master plan of how you want to play the hand, and then decide. Oh, then you should recognize I have a real entry problem here. Will have trouble getting to my good diamonds. I need to save my 2 of spades. It's kind of the key there. All right, let's look at another here. Okay, now our contract is 6 hearts in the south, and they lead the 9 of diamonds. So how do we count our losers here? How many spade losers do we have? There's 1 because we're
One,
missing
yeah.
the king. How many heart losers?
None.
None. How many diamond losers?
None.
None. And how many club losers?
Just 1.
Just 1. And so 1 spade loser and 1 club loser, that's 1 loser too many if we're in 6 hearts. We can only afford to lose 1 trick. And so it's unlikely we can avoid losing a club. Is there any way to avoid losing a spade?
Is it just running two rounds of Colts, 2 rounds of hearts, and then trump? Nope, sorry. What am I saying?
Yeah, it's the wrong length to trump because hearts is our trump. Yeah.
Yeah.
So really our only hope for spades is to hope that the king of spades is in the east and that we can do 2 finesses. If the king of spades is where we want it and we can lead a 3 of spades from the dummy and put in our jack and it wins, and then we can later lead the 4 of spades from dummy and put in the queen and it wins, then we don't have a spade loser. So, but the only way to avoid a spade loser really is to finesse, and if the finesse works once, it'll probably work again.
You familiar with finesses, Sam?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you see how if we lead the 3 of spades, and if they play low, we can put our jack in here.
Yeah.
And if the king is on our right, the jack will win the trick. And then if we can go back and lead the 4 of spades, and they play low again, we can put in our queen, and it'll win again, and then our ace will be a winner. So if the king of spades is on our right in the east hand, and we can finesse twice, we won't lose a spade. So that's the only way to do that.
But now you're going to have to finesse the 9 of hearts.
Yes, you are.
Good.
Because in order to finesse spades twice, we have to have 2 entries into dummy. We can't get there in clubs. We can't get there in diamonds because we've got ace, king, queen of diamonds tight. We can't get there in spades because we need to lead spades from the dummy to do our finesse. So the only way to get to dummy is in hearts. And if we're going to get there twice, we have to hope that the 10 of hearts is on our left. So that we would win the initial diamond and lead a low heart to the 9. And if that wins, we lead a low spade back to the jack. And if that wins, we now lead another heart to our jack of hearts, which is sure to win. And then lead another spade to our queen of spades. And at that point, we can draw trumps and make our slam. And so, Linnea, what's the probability that slam is going to make?
Probably 25%.
That is correct. Because if you need 2 finesses, both of them to work, each one is a 50% chance, but a 50% chance of failure for each. And if either one, if there's a 75% chance, at least one will fail. Okay, so let's look at another here. Contract is 4 hearts, east and west do not bid. and the opening lead is the queen of spades. So I'm going to ask first about the opening lead. What do we know about the spade honors? How are they divided?
Well, whoever led the queen probably has the jack.
Right, that's West. So West should have the jack. Who has the king then?
Probably east.
Yep, almost certainly East, because we lead top from our, if we have touching honors, we lead the highest one. So the lead of the queen denies the king. So, and since we don't have the king, dummy doesn't have the king, opening leader doesn't have it, that means that the right-hand opponent has the king of spades. So when we count our losers here, how many spade losers do we have?
2.
How many heart losers?
Possibly 1.
We'll count 0 though, most likely 0.
Okay.
How many diamond losers?
3.
Probably 2 to 3.
3 diamond losers. And how many club losers?
None.
None. That's right. So that's too many though, to be in 4 hearts. 2 spades and 3 diamonds is 5, right? We need to get rid of 2 of those. And what's our best chance to get rid of losers?
The ace, king, queen of clubs.
Right. If we could play those 3 cards, we could pitch our 3 diamond losers. Right? And then we'd be down to just the 2 spade losers, and we'd be looking at an over trick. But there's a problem, right?
How do you lead from dummy?
That's correct. And so, does dummy have an entry? Is there a way to get to dummy?
Maybe the 10 of hearts.
Maybe the 10 of hearts. If the jack of hearts is on our left, then we can lead a low heart from the south. And if they don't put up the jack, we play the 10 and it will win. And so the problem is that if they put up the jack, that's a loser we were not really counting on. But it's okay, because if they put up the jack, then we will be able to get to the 10 the next time. And we'll still be able to get rid of all our diamond losers. So it's worth losing an extra heart if we can get rid of 3 diamond losers. It would still be okay to lose 2 spades and a heart, and we'll be all right there. So we should win the ace of spades at trick 1, and at trick 2, lead a low heart to the board. And so what's the chance that we'll be able to get to the board with our 10 of hearts?
50%.
50%. 50% never feels good when you're actually doing it, but if you can calculate the alternative is down 2 for sure, it's better than that. So if you lead low to the heart, and if they go up with a jack, they can take their 2 spades, you can rough a spade, and then lead a heart to the 10, play ace, king, queen of clubs, and throw your diamonds. Even if they switch to a diamond instead, you'd be able to take your ace of diamonds, go to the board with a heart, and still get rid of your diamonds on the clubs.
Tony is right that a diamond lead could be a little more problematic. Although I guess you'd still probably play the hand the same way and hope that they
Hope the diamonds are 3-2.
Hope they're 3-2 and that they can't disentangle them to get a rough.
Right, that's correct.
It's also important to note that on the spade lead, you should win the ace immediately. Sometimes it's common practice to duck a trick when you have a suit like this. But if you duck the spade, they can switch to a diamond, and then you'll be in big trouble.
Mm-hmm. That is correct. Okay. So now the auction started with North as the dealer. North has 20 points here. The you look for the ace, king, queen, jack, so that's always a 10. And then we've got another ace, king, queen, jack for another 10, so 20 high card points, and a length point for hearts, so 21 points. But we start with one heart. That's a wide-ranging bid, 12 to 21 points for that one heart opening. We happen to have the maximum we could. South says a spade, and then North jumps to 3 diamonds. A jump into a new suit by opener is a game-forcing bid, and it indicates a maximum one of a suit opener, so 19 to 21 points. And it's also a natural bid. It's a suit that you have at least 3 of, usually more. And so because South knows as a game force they can't pass, they also know that their slam prospect doesn't look good. And it doesn't look like they have necessarily a trump fit even, but they do have 5 clubs to the ace. And so it's reasonable to bid 3 no trump there, saying, I have protection and you're in the black suits and you've bid strongly in the red suit. So we're probably okay with 3 no trump. And so the 6 of clubs is led. And when we're declaring a no trump contract, we normally count sure tricks. We start with tricks that we can take for sure without giving up the lead. So we have no sure spade tricks because we're missing the ace. We have 1 sure heart trick with the ace. And we have 4 sure diamond tricks with ace, king, queen, jack, and 2 sure club tricks. So if we add that up, what is that, 7? So we need 2 more tricks to make our contract. And so what are the techniques that we can use? What are the declare play techniques we can use to make, to build 2 more tricks or to get 2 more tricks?
Wait, don't we have 8 top tricks?
We have 8?
5 top, are you counting 5 diamonds or only 4?
4 diamonds.
You're expecting the worst.
Well, yes, but I will give you the extra diamond. Yes.
Yeah.
The through length we expect to get 1 more diamond trick. And so then we need to develop just 1 more trick beyond that.
Well, I think I'd take the king of clubs and play the queen of spades.
So you're getting a little bit ahead there, but what you're
Mhm.
saying is you would develop your 9th trick via promotion in spades.
Yes, but you'd have to save your ace of clubs to make sure you could get to it.
Right, but then, and so that's the next step in the thinking process. The first process is I can promote a spade by leading one of my spade honors and then leading the queen of spades, letting him take the ace, but that will promote my king into be a trick. But then I have to have an entry to the south hand in order to enjoy that trick. And so that's what you're saying. We need to preserve our ace of clubs as an entry so that we can cash our king of spades once it's been promoted. And so this is another case where people often will say, well, they lead a 6 of clubs and they see king, jack there and ace in the hand. We'll play the jack and maybe we'll get a free trick with the jack. If they led away from their queen, that's another way you can get your extra trick, is trying the club finesse. But that club finesse has got like a 50-50 chance of working. And so if you play a low club at trick 1 from dummy and they cover the jack with the queen, now you have to play your ace of clubs, and then when you promote your spade, you can't get back to your hand to cash the king of spades. So you're trading by taking the finesse, you're giving yourself a 50% chance of making your game. If you just go up with the king of clubs, forego the finesse, play the queen of spades, it's a 100% chance of making your contract.
Actually, you're not giving yourself a 50% chance if you take the finesse.
Yeah, you're still
Because-
stuck because you're not going to be able to untangle all those
Exactly.
clubs anyhow.
You'll never get back to dummy to get the ace of clubs if you win the jack and then cash the king.
Yep, so that doesn't even help. but it's one that's a very attractive looking when they give you what looks like a free finesse. Declarers are eager to take advantage of that, but it's a red herring. It would be a much easier hand if what you had was the king six of clubs, for instance, instead of the king jack. Then people would not tend to go wrong so much. But when you have the king jack, it's easier to get fooled there. Okay, so now North starts with one club, and we've got 10, 13, 16, 17, 18, 19 with length points, but the singleton king of hearts is not worth its full weight there. So maybe we call it 17 or 18 points. We start with a club, South bids a spade, and then we rebid 3 clubs. And that says 2 things. The initial 1 club bid, you may only had 3 clubs in your hand, but when you rebid your suit, however many you rebid them, it promises at least 6. And then jumping to the 3 level says I had a medium strength opening hand. My original 1 club was 12 to 21. By jumping in my rebid in the same suit, it says I'm in the middle of that. I'm in the 16 to 18 point range. And so South says, well, if you've got 16 points at least, we've got 9. That's going to be enough for 3 no trump. And I've got stoppers and hearts and diamonds, so that looks pretty good. And so South bids 3 no trump and becomes declare. And West leads the jack of hearts. What other hearts do we think West has?
The 10 and the 9.
That's right. And so now we're going to count our fast winners here. And so we don't have any fast clubs. We've got we have really just 2 fast winners in hearts. We can't count 3 because we don't necessarily have an entry to the south hand to take them all separately. No fast diamond winners, and then we have for sure 7 fast clubs. And then we have a chance of promoting we could promote a diamond trick possibly. But if we have, so what do we think would be our best declare play strategy here?
Do you want me to let other people say something? I feel sort of silly always answering.
No, go ahead and answer. Tell us what you think.
Well, your problem is going to be getting back to play your ace and queen of hearts. And since you only need 9 tricks, you probably have to overtake your king of hearts with the ace and then play the queen and then play out all of your clubs.
That's correct. That's the only way that you can take the first 9 tricks for sure. And is this sound way to do it. And after you do that, you can try and promote a diamond at the end there and see if you can knock out their ace of diamonds and maybe make a diamond for an over trick. But you'll have secured your contract. And again, it's very tempting as declare to say, well, play the king of hearts and play low, and then I'll run all my clubs, and then I'll hope I can get back to my hand to take the ace and queen of hearts. But you don't want to hope for something like that when you have a surefire way to, 100% way to do it. And the 100% way is to only take 2 hearts, take them at tricks 1 and 2, and then take your for sure 7 clubs. So here, South is the dealer and has 10 high cards, 14 and 3 length points, 15, 16, 17. But it's really even a stronger hand than that because with a 7-4-1-1, that's a very high playing strength hand. And North bids 2 hearts which should be a game force and promises when you bid 2 hearts over a spade, you have to have at least 5 hearts for that. 3 spades says I have a solid spade suit, and I say spades are going to be trump. So that jump in spades is doing that. So then North does a control bid showing their ace of clubs by bidding 4 clubs. And then South bids 4 no trump, asking for key cards. And it looks like they're showing one key card or 1 ace. I don't know how they're doing this hand. And so we settle for a contract of 6 spades, which gets doubled by East. And when we double a slam, we're not doubling because we think we're going to set it. A double of a slam, and Linnea, you know what this one is? If I hide it. What does East double of 6 spades say? Tony, are you there? What do you think that is?
Well, Tony's very good. He would have set the 6 diamonds we defended against on Sunday, right?
So double of a slam, we call that a Leitner double. And what it says is, I want you to make a partner you're on lead. I want you to make an unusual lead. And that unusual lead is normally dummy's first bid suit. Okay. So that's requesting a heart lead from partner. So it's not saying it's not specifically saying I'm doubling because I have strength, like I have 2 aces or something. But it's saying I want a heart lead, and I think maybe if you lead a heart, we might be able to set them. So
It's a fairly advanced convention, so don't worry if you don't know it. But good to keep in mind if you're defending a lot of slams against good players.
It would have worked.
well, so the question is, why would East want a heart lead? Presumably,
Because they have the ace queen.
that's correct. So how come West led the queen of clubs?
Probably didn't have any hearts.
That's right. So, because we can see we've got 9 hearts between us, so they must be 4 hearts, ace king or ace queen jack little in the East. So that's good news for us. So how are we going to try and make this hand?
Well, this requires an unusual move
Yep.
It does.
because the only time you're going to be in dummy is when you take the ace of clubs.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to discard your ace of diamonds on your king of clubs so that you can play the king, queen, jack, 10 and get rid of all your hearts.
That's correct.
Yeah, the ace of diamonds is actually not a helpful card in this hand. Well, I mean, it's helpful that your side has it rather than the opponent's.
Right. But it's another case of being blocked,
Exactly.
and you have limited entries to the hand that has the length of those high cards. So this is another hand that you need to really think about, and you certainly are happy that they were not able to lead a heart, because it gives you a chance, but you have to take your chance. And what's kind of unnerving here too is you have to lead all those diamonds before pulling trump, because you can't get back to dummy to do it after pulling trump. So you have to hope that 4 rounds of diamonds go. And even if they only go 3 rounds, you can play the 4th one, and you still pitch your last heart. And if they trump it, that's your one trick you lose, and you can win everything after that. All right, so that's all I have for today. Normally I'd have less puzzle solving and more actual hand playing with Shark Bridge, and we should do that next week. But I did not have the right set of hands today for that, so we'll do more of that then.
Yeah, we'll look forward to that. Tony, are you around on Thursday? All right. So Sam, hopefully we'll have enough for a in-person meeting on Thursday. If you're able to join, we'll do some live hands and more just playing and discussing, maybe a little bidding as well. So hope you can make it then.
Yep, I know. I see your message back there about the regional, Tony. So we played teams on Monday. We had a couple of strong teams early on that we held our own against, I would say. So that was kind of fun.
You played in Santa Clara on Monday?
Yes.
How did you do?
We came in 30th.
Out of how many?
30.
No, actually, we were 33rd out of 33.
Okay. I guess that's worse.
Yeah, it was pretty ignominious.
We won our first match and we lost the next two by not a whole lot. But then the last three matches, we played teams we should have beat all three of them, and we self-destructed.
That makes me feel better about last Tuesday.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Linnea, you have a story for life, being able to say that you made a 3-no trump that Bobby Levin went down on. He's number
Really?
9. He's number 9 in the world in master points.
Really?
Yeah.
All I can think about is the heart finesse I didn't take that would have let us beat Billy's team.
Yeah, well, that would have been even better, but
That would have
That's-
been.
Hang on, I'll show you a picture here if I can bring it up quickly.
Yeah, I have to chalk Tuesday up as a real learning experience, which is what you say when you totally tank.
well, it was not your fault. It was just
Oh.
unfortunate that there weren't many teams. So we did have to swim with the sharks.
I have to say, I was very surprised. I was playing later with Lynn, with one of the people that played, and he was, he thought we did really well, and I said, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, this is who we're talking about there.
So I made a 3-no trump that he didn't make.
Yeah.
Must have been the lead. Must have been the lead.
Your picture will be on the next bridge bulletin.
Right.
All right, I gotta go. Back to next
Okay.
week. I'll see you guys.
Thanks a lot,
Bye-bye.
Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
Thanks for coming, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks for doing all this work, Andrew.
Yeah, you bet. Take it easy.